So I just moved to... A lot has happened since the last video. I graduated, have a functioning prototype. First thing I ever made, hit 1 million views. And so I guess I wanted to make this to summarize in my own head the stuff that's happened in the last few months. So I guess I'm gonna start with something almost poetically weird about college in the end was that I started in a non-conventional way because of COVID and I ended in a non-conventional way because of COVID. It almost feels like graduation didn't really happen, but it also sort of happened because I graduated in December because I took a gap sem, and so it was unclear did I graduate early or late. However I see it, I was done. So I told myself that I'm just gonna give myself a month to take a complete break and chill out. And that's not what happened. I try to avoid console video games because I get addicted way too quickly, but I was like, you know what, this time I'm gonna actually try and force myself to play a video game just to have fun. So I finished all of GTA in a week. The only game console I had growing up was a Wii, and so I dusted that off and became a pro in every Wii sport. I tried to go for being the best compared to all characters. That was super hard. I got stuck on the first one I tried, which is table tennis. Akira, I hate you. Then the board I was working on before leaving didn't work and I just couldn't help myself. So I spent a few days completely redoing it, and after a couple of days it shipped and I had a fully functioning board ready. I also have been thinking about the software side of this thing, and so I ended up prototyping an app. And then I learned a bunch from that, so I ended up prototyping yet another app. And after Singapore, we went to India to visit family. I guess a highlight from that is we discovered an abandoned kitten in my grandparents' house. Then we kind of took it in and found an adoptive parent. But the weird part is that is the second time something like this has happened in the last 5 years. I don't know, cat distribution system seems to love me. And then was SF. The first 2 weeks, as the first 2 weeks when I come here always are, were incredibly fuzzy because I'm dealing with insane jet lag. But yeah, Patrick, my housemate, got a U-Haul with me, helped me move all of my stuff, and I think in those 2 weeks we got a pretty good setup here. But it's also been a very involved month after that. I was just grinding on my prototype to a point I could actually like carry it around, and it works. I iterated on some web stuff. Eventually I made a deck so it was clearer to people what I was talking about, what I was doing, and that was also really rough because I had to draw on 7 months of exploration and crumple it down into 10 slides. And I think the general feeling now is that things are just coming together. It's kind of clear what the mission is and what the goal is. That I think computers can be really powerful tools for ourselves. And I want to make computers and devices and websites, whatever, focused on helping us be more present and on understanding ourselves. I want to do that in a fun, colorful, and cute way. And so yeah, the good things are that I posted about it, about 1 million views on Instagram, which is really crazy. I've gone past 15,000 followers just off of that video. I'll talk about updates on what I'm actually making in videos later. But I guess I want to talk a bit about the rough parts. I think the psychology of it is honestly the hardest part. I've spent so much time all by myself hacking away at this thing, and at times it's just been like eating glass. Things don't work. It's so easy to think, why am I doing this? Where is this even going? Does this mean anything? Something I've learned is that so much of making stuff is like plopping out a baby. When you first pop out a baby, they're this weak, fragile thing that you have to take a lot of care of. It's unclear what they're gonna amount to, what they're gonna turn into. And I think you have a lot of people who then project their ideas of what they want the baby to be. Then you have an equal number of people who just kind of don't get it. They have a dead look in their eyes. They have this doubt. And the doubt is palpable, and it's hard to live with it because you're like, wow, this person really doesn't think this thing's gonna amount to anything. None of that changes the fact that the baby is gonna be what the baby wants to be, and you can't rush it. You can't overwater a plant and expect it to grow faster. But at the same time, it's so important to be grounded in reality and obviously actually get feedback from the world. I think that in the last 7 months I've been working on it, it was still an infant. It was still too fragile to go out there into the world. But now it's coming together. Now it's sort of like a tiny child. Very soon, I need to push it out into the world, even if it's in an imperfect state, so I can get that real feedback that turns it into something legit, as opposed to just coddling this child in a room forever. But it's nice to look at, you know, I have this guy, something that I can actually hold in my hand, and that came purely from working on it. It is finally adding up to something. And yeah, I think that's been the theme of the last few months. All of that effort is finally going somewhere, and that's just been a nice feeling. Anyway, that is my last few months. SF, I am in you.